Knifedope. More dope. Come and get your fix. What's up, fuckers? Your boy's back with a fresh batch of dope. Knifedope. That's right, people. The hits don't stop. Got one today that is being done by Kizer. It was sent to me courtesy of the Cuban sensation, otherwise known as JD for EDC. So big thanks to him for sending it down my way. Now, I think the story for Kizer in 2023 has been consistency. You know, they've managed to remain consistent in dropping multiple knives a month, it almost seems like, or several for sure every quarter. And I think the results have been, mixed. At least to me, they've had some budget knives which were very, very underwhelming, and then they had some, two outstanding releases this year that I've talked pretty lengthy about, and that is the Veritas and the Militol. Both of those knives I felt could possibly be even classified as Kizer's best in the history of the brand. But nonetheless, they've had some that have also kind of left you wanting more. But this one has gotten quite a bit of traction. I'm out here in these streets, and the word is that this is fire. So let's dive into this. But first off, a little bit of knife flexing. One that I just showed you guys the recent upgrade, rather the mod, which is these scales. And it was in the pocket today. And let me fucking tell you what, these scales made all the goddamn difference. I shit you not. I'm actually enjoying holding this knife, carrying it. I anticipate much use. This is my only knife with CPM crewware in my collection. I've heard great things about the steel, but I've never truly tested it. So stand by for that. But enough about that. Let's get to the dope. All right, this knife coming from Kizer is the Mercury. Now, the Mercury comes in at $139. And I think right out the gate for the materials that are listed on this spec sheet, well worth it. But now that I have it in hand, I am very, very impressed. First off, the very first thing I experienced when I took the knife out was these fantastic contoured titanium scales with a bronze color. Don't necessarily know if that is an anodization. It's got to be an anodization. Bronze anode. Now, the knife, when it's closed, is for the most part, the blade is completely concealed. We do have a little bit of it sticking out. But these handles, man, the milling work that took place to get these handles to where they're at is, impressive. This wasn't done 1, 2, 3. Not only that, the interior milling is just as significant. Tons of weight reduction. Now let's talk about the knife itself. Look at that fucking blade. Nice sheep's foot blade, little cleaver blade, CPM S35 VN, beautiful belt satin finish. And I even ventured to say that this is a hollow, a very slight hollow, I feel, on the grind of this blade. For the most part, stereo presentation. We've got, of course, the customary Kizer logo here on the show side. And then we've got that maker's mark. Mr. Alex Berkowitz is the designer for this knife. Now, let me tell you, before I made this video, I did a little bit of a deep dive on Mr. Berkowitz. And as far as I could tell, this is his first and only production knife. I know for sure this is his first collaboration with Kizer. And he fucking crushed it. He really did. Actually, we also got S35 VN there on the show side. He nailed it, man. Milled titanium pocket clip is right-hand tip-up carry. Also, about these scales, these are actually a clamshell construction. There is no backspacer. It almost looks like an integral. It really does. Absolutely zero lanyard hole for any weirdo. So weirdos are just going to have to man up. It is a flipper only as well. The jimping is done rather well on that as well. The jimping is done well as rather well. Nah, yeah, fuck it. You know what I mean? Great jimping. Really can't complain about that. The D10 on this thing is totally dialed the fuck in. She flies out right back to the house. I've also come to realize that actually I'm starting to like, at least with this one, doing the push button. I never really ever do that push button shit. But this one, it works fine for the push button. Riding on cage ceramic bearings. The blade length comes in at 3.27. The handle comes in at 4.09, giving us a total of 7.36 overall. Weight on this, like I mentioned, it is super light, and that's coming in at 2.08 ounces. Now, this Mercury is coming from Kizer's Bladesmith series. You know, Kizer's got a shit ton of series. You know, I feel like they've got at least 4 or 5 different series. But what I think is really interesting about this one is this is actually Kizer's attempt to collaborate and partner up with custom knife makers from all over the world. And then what they basically do is they just license their designs and manufacture them. So this is like a perfect marriage made in heaven. You know, Kizer really attempted to crush this design, which was given to them, or rather licensed to them by Mr. Berkowitz. And it fucking worked. What do you want me to tell you? It worked. Let's go ahead and throw up some knives for some size comparison. Basically, a little bit of knife flexing. You know how the fuck we do. First up, got to do America first. We're going to go with the Spyderco, or rather the Blade Ops exclusive Spyderco Paramilitary 2. So the Mercury is definitely smaller than that. Next up, another offering from Kizer's Bladesmith series and another gentleman's knife. We're going to go with the Justin Lundquist design, the Delorme. So the Mercury is definitely bigger than the Delorme. You know, now that I think about it, to be honest with you, I think this Berkowitz design Mercury, it is like direct competition for people who are fans of the CRKT CEO, that type of a knife. You know, a very non-threatening gentleman's folder. You could pull this out in public, cut open your envelope without having people running for the goddamn exit, you know. Let's do a couple more, shall we? Now, this next one is possibly my only gentleman's knife in my collection, and that is going to be the Quiet Carry Drift OG rendition. And so the Mercury is bigger than that. Next up, the unofficial overseas knife of the channel, and a wildly popular one at that. That is going to be the Echo from CJRB. So the Mercury and the Echo are close to the same length. Let's do 2 more. God damn it, 2 more. Gotta have another Spyderco sighting. We're gonna go with the Smock. Fantastic knife from my collection, which does not get the pocket time it deserves. And the Mercury is smaller than that. Last but certainly not least, another USA representative. We're looking at the Duty Low Special, otherwise known as the ProTech Malibu. This knife is currently on loan from my partner Duty, and we can see that that Mercury is smaller than that. You know, the general consensus before me even receiving this knife was that this was an exquisite offering by Kizer. You know, I had even heard maybe a few people, you know, whisper knife of the year for definitely for the price point. I wouldn't argue with that. Granted, wouldn't be something that I would say, but I damn sure will say that this appears to be one of the top 4 designs that Kizer has released this year. Absolutely. I am very, very impressed with it. You know, especially the action. You know, sometimes Kizer's been known to have a gritty action. This is a new knife. You know, this is a pass around. So that being said, very, very, very smooth, you know. But more importantly, I want to know what you fuckers think. Are you a fan of this goddamn Mercury? Are you a fan of what Kizer's been doing? Tell me all about it. Love you, mean it. Until the next time. Cut something, cut someone. Just don't cut yourself. Stay dangerous, fuckers!